Hello and welcome, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the pleasure of introducing our distinguished guest for our Meet the Leader session today. Jack Ma started his professional life as a teacher and has said that he's the unlikeliest of technology entrepreneurs. He's the executive chairman of the Alibaba Group, the leading e-commerce and technology conglomerate with headquarters in the People's Republic of China. This year, on April 4th, the Alibaba Group will celebrate its 20th birthday, having been founded in 1999 by Jack and 17 of his former students in his living room in China. Jack believed in the power of technology to level the playing field for businesses around the world, and Alibaba is a testament to that. Alibaba has transformed the lives of scores of millions of people in China, created more than 30 million jobs, recorded 1.4 billion transactions, and 90% of them through mobile on Singles Day in November. And really, the dream doesn't end there. Jack's aspiration for Alibaba is to create 100 million jobs and reach 2 billion consumers globally. Jack also has a long history with the World Economic Forum. He first came to Davos as a young global leader in 2001 and now serves on the boards of the World Economic Forum and the Global Shapers community. We are indeed extremely lucky to have Jack with us today. So Jack, thank you so much for insisting on creating time out of your very busy schedule to meet with the young communities at the forum today. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a warm welcome to Jack Ma. Thank you. Okay, so Jack, today we have the Global Shapers community, the young global leaders and technology pioneers are seated in the room today and eager really to engage with you. But let me start off with this question. So now, in 1999, you recorded a video of your speech to your co-founders at the launch of Alibaba. And in that video, you were very resolute and confident. I mean, you seemed so confident that your company was going to succeed. Yet, we know that there is no such thing as a risk-free business. So did you have any moments of doubt or fear on launching Alibaba, or what you, or really, did you have any concerns that maybe you wouldn't make it? And if you did, how did you manage those fears and doubts, and what was your support system like?
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's my great honor to be with you, and thank you for asking the question. I was scared. There are technical guys here. Don't ask me technical questions. But of course, I was scared. I had feared, doubted, again. But one thing I never sort of doubted about is I believe somebody, if not us, if not me, somebody will win. Somebody will be there. But the thing is that I think it's the early stage of the internet, 1999. Everybody has a fair chance. There's no expert at that time. Even to today, there is no expert of tomorrow. There is only expert of yesterday. Nobody would say, well, tomorrow will be like this. So this is what I think. We don't have a system to support that, how I can overcome my doubts and fears. But I tried to be transparent to my team. And actually, I did everything. I worried. Everything I'm confident. I'm worried, I'm not sure. I want to get the team input inside. So they know that if they know I'm hiding something worried, they get even more worried, right? So I tell this is what I worry. But of course, when I go home, I think more. I experience more. And so at your age, our age, early days, everything when you want to do something, for sure if you create value, there is opportunity. But the thing you worry, probably will worry you is somebody will do better, or quicker, or more complicated than you are, or much sophisticated than you are. You probably lose the chance. So when you do business, my rule is never be afraid, never worry about a competition, never worry about the pressures. If you worry about the pressure, you will worry about a competition. If you worry about this, don't be a businessman. And today, the good thing is the whole world worries. Everywhere. People worry about data, people worry about privacy, people worry about security, people worry about anything. That normally that means great opportunity comes. Because you cannot stop this. The internet time is coming, mobile time is coming, big data is coming. You cannot stop. Not worry with. The only thing is you embrace, you change yourself instead of do it. And is there any system? No. If you have a system, you never worry. Nobody has a system. Yeah. Ask your president. He doesn't have a system. He worries. Right? If you're a human being, you worries, you doubts. But the only difference when you doubt, you win, you fix the problem, you change yourself, you fight again tomorrow.
Great. Thank you. Let me follow on with that, on asking about your team. So you talked about just now how transparent you were with your team. How did you build your team? A lot of us here are building businesses and organizations where we want to have similar impact or even greater than what you've been able to achieve. So how did you build your team? How did you know when you had the right team?
Well, today, the 18 founders of Alibaba, a lot of people think they are legendary. So I'm like, wow, you're Alibaba founders. You must be super good at it. Honestly, most of us cannot find the jobs early days. We're not that smart. None of us graduate from a great university. But the thing is that we are ready to learn. We believe in the future. If we work together, if we will learn, if we improve, we'll be there. I told them for the first year, everybody forget about that you will be VP, vice president, right? You will always be a tiny manager in your life. Because if we're successful, people we hire, they will be smarter than us. If we only hire people who are stupid than us, then we'll be in trouble. Right? So when we hire people who are smarter than us, the company will grow, and you will be happy because this is the mission that we have. So I would say there's no best people in the world that is ready for you. The best people is always you find the right people working together, training him, developing him, and he training you. Then you have a chance to build a team.
Right.
Yeah, there's never ever think about it. Wow, that guy used to work in Google or Alibaba or Facebook. He must be good. No, not necessary.
So what qualities then do you look for at the bare minimum to bring someone onto your team?
Quality number one, he should be smart. Right? Smart is, if he's stupid, that's even worse than cancer. Cancer be cured. Smart, when you're stupid, you cannot be cured. It's you know what I'm saying, right? So he'll be smart. He should be smarter than I am. When I hire people, I hire the people who's smarter than I am, and I think people like him. 4 or 5 years later, he can be my boss. I love to work for him. That's the best. And second, I like his personality. Always, positive, right? And don't easily give up talking about. So, very simple. I never say, well, I will hire you and let me see your diploma, which university you graduate. That does not that important, right? The important is a smart people, smarter than you are. You like his personality, and I like the people who never give up. And I've been proved this for so many years. I've seen so many great leaders in the world in many, many fields. Those people are always optimistic. They don't complain. You know, because of this, because that. No, they think they complain, I was not that smart. I did not think about that clearly, so I had the need to change. Right? So if you find people who always complain the others because he's not success, don't hire him, don't work with him.
Oh, thank you. So as a Nigerian entrepreneur, I've been intrigued about your comments on the potential on the African continent. I mean, you've been engaging very much in recent years. I know that you just came from a session with President Paul Kagame of Rwanda, and you've also invested about $10 million in the Netpreneur Prize. What has propelled your interests in Africa for African entrepreneurs in the technology space? Can you speak to that?
Yeah, actually, year 2017 was my first trip to Africa. Before I went to Africa, I was scared because a lot of thinking about poverty, disease, and a lot of unsafety, security, all these things. And then I said, let's go there. So I visited there. I visited Kenya, Rwanda, Namibia, and I think I think the first 3 countries. After that, I said, wow, it's so different. First, I get the feeling. It looks like China 20 years ago when I started my business. So many young people, passion for the future. And one thing, that Europe always worries about future. Africa, they don't worry about the future because they don't have something that is good. Europe always want to keep yesterday. Africa probably don't have it yesterday. The most difficult people to convince in this world is successful people, right? In this world, the most difficult to change a successful people to fall, it's very complicated. So Africa, you see, they want embrace, they want to change. They have a passion, they're young people. And the good thing is the infrastructure was bad. Because the infrastructure was bad, there's opportunity. Right? China, why China mobile phone was so good? Because China phone was too terrible early days. Very few families have the phones. So when mobile phone come, we suddenly grab it. So I think the opportunity there, young people smart. So I said, the hope of Africa, there are 4 things, which I think I will be focused on. The first, the technology, for internet technology, for the first day when it was born internet, it was inclusive. It's suddenly covered all the young people, poor people, right? You see credit card when it comes, only rich people can have credit cards. While the mobile phone payment, rich people don't believe that. They believe credit cards. We young people accept the mobile phone payment immediately because we don't have money. We care about it 1 cent, 2 cents, right?
Right.
So I think the 4 very important thing in Africa, first is entrepreneur. It's the entrepreneur that's going to change Africa. Because they have brave, they have the courage, they never worry about the future. No, as an entrepreneur, if you worry about the future, you will never be an entrepreneur, right? You always believe these things are going to happen. Then you start to prepare. So Africa needs entrepreneurs. Africa needs education. Right. Education, if you don't have the education, the good thing is today's the USA and Western education, European education system is good. But it's going to face the challenges because the new technology coming. This education system today we have was designed 200 years ago for the industrial time. Now the data time comes. What's the right education system for that? Right. That is to embrace challenge, change. That is innovation, creative. So Africa, the second, the education, E. The third is infrastructure, not infrastructure. To make everybody in Africa to be able to reach the internet using the phones, but not using the phone only for gamings, for Twitters. But you have to do business. Using phone, buy anywhere, sell anywhere, do business, communicate. And very important last is e-government. You put the government on E. The government has to be transparent. And the government will never shut down the internet. Because if they shut down the internet, they shut down themselves. So 4 E's, that is something that making a developing countries has the opportunity to leapfrog.
Great, thank you so much. I'll now open the floor to questions. I'd like to ask a few things. First, please make sure to introduce yourself with your name and the community you're a part of. I will also ask that you please do not pitch to Jack Ma. Please also, I know the temptation is there, but please make your questions succinct so that we also give an opportunity to everyone to ask the questions. Yes.
Hello, my name is Claudia Olsen. I'm a Young Global Leader from Sweden. I'm also the founder of Stellar Capacity, which is an education company. And we train professionals and digital leadership. And I'm not pitching. But I wanted to ask, because just as you mentioned very wisely, is that the education systems are designed for the previous industrial revolutions, the industrial development. Now when we are designing new organizations and the education system, how do we also change our leadership? What kind of leadership is needed for the new economy? Thank you.
So, as I said, the education area has huge potential. And also, most of the universities will face challenges. Most of the business schools will face challenges. I think we should focus the resource developing countries like China, or India, or Africa. We put more resources on the back end, on the PhD or master degree research institute, which I think we should put more resources on the early stage, kindergarten, primary school, middle school, because you create. And the second thing is education. The past education system was trying to make, for China, we teach kids to be like a learning machine. They remember everything. They calculate it faster. If you remember everything, compete with computer never forgets, right? If you want to be calculate faster, you don't have any chance, right? So if you want to teach people harder working, computer, when electricity is on, they never stop work. So what's the things that we have to teach that the kids, that to be more creative, innovative, that do the things the machine cannot do. But when you have a lot of smart people, leadership is the key. To manage smart people, you have to use in culture, the value system. They believe what they do. But if you want using just the principle, rules, or laws, and documents to control, that's control. Normally, you control stupid people. You know, stupid people. They say, "Wait online, go to the toilet." They go together, go to the line. But that work. The next century, most people should be educated, smart. Than they're wiser than machines. Then to manage a wise, like Alibaba, we're like a zoo, all kinds of animals. Right? So to manage them, the best thing is self-management. How can they self-manage themselves? It's the value they believe in, the mission. The machine in the future, they have chips, but the human beings have the heart. The heart is where the value, the mission. So this is what I think the education system, we need to move to that direction. I hope I answered your question.
Great. All right.
Hi, this is Nishad from Global Shapers Doha in Qatar. My question would be on environment perspective, how Alibaba Group is working on supply chains to be more sustainable and working on impacts of climate change. So how you think business leaders can work on that?
Climate change, the weather, the environment. Yeah. First, as a technology company, we believe in technology is great for human beings. We believe technology can create a lot of jobs because human beings, every technology revolution create more jobs. But when the early stage, every technology create worries. Worry, if you do not manage them well, it's going to be a big problem. As I said, the First World War because of the first technology revolution. second technology revolution caused the Second World War. And this is the third technology revolution we're coming. Then, as at Alibaba, we believe in the future. We believe technology will be inclusive, sustainable. And the people worry about environment. Using technology to solve the environment problems. We only have one Earth. This is everybody. We only have one. When people using oil, coals, if we think Earth is a human, you're digging the oil and burning them. You're digging the coals, that's the bones. You're digging them. The Earth will revenge. It will be painful. So, yes, we will do that. We still need oil, we still need the coals, we still need the wood. But if the data can tell us how to use it efficiently, smartly, and that is what we think we can do. And the other thing is when you're giving everybody, every country opportunities. So I'm a believer, I'm not a technology person, but I'm a believer that technology is great for human beings. And as a technical company, don't be evil, it's not enough. You should do good things for the world. Do good things for the future. And believe in young people. And environment is a big issue, it's a big problem. The Earth probably can handle 3 billion people, will be probably the best. Now we got like 7, 8 billion. You can have a stop, but probably we're going to have 10 billion or 12 billion. More problem comes. But using technology to foresee the problem comes, solve it. This is why I think Alibaba has a lot of things to do, not only for making money. Making money is something, early days is important for us. Now making money is not that important. How we can use technology to change, to improve, to be inclusive, sustainable, and green. That is why we're still at our age, at our sort of hard working for 20 years, time to rest, we're still fighting. That's the meaning of the technology. Yeah.
Hello, thanks for this opportunity. I am Leticia Gasca, I'm a global shaper from the Buenos Aires hub. The World Economic Forum, we talk a lot about the skills for the future of work, but I was wondering about your thoughts on the skills for the future of humanity.
Future of humanity?
Yeah.
What is your view? Yeah.
In fact, these couple of days I've been thinking about that probably the most relevant skills for our future as mankind are being more empathetic and more mindful, which are not the typical soft or hard skills we talk about.
Okay. Thank you. Well, one of the things I feel very proud in Alibaba values, we have 6 values. There's 2 things which is very unique. And I think in the future, no matter whatever Alibaba value changes, these 2 will never change. The first value is customer number 1, employee number 2, shareholder number 3. That means enable others, make other people better. One of the reasons why we survived for 20 years because I was a teacher. As a teacher, you always expect your students better than you are. You feel proud. My student become a mayor, a banker. You don't want your student to be prison, right? Bankrupt. You always want them to be more successful than you are. So rule number one is humanity is hope the other people, your parents, your kids, your colleagues, better than you are. Second is embrace change. That no matter whatever comes, something you unexpected to come, embrace it. If you cannot change it, embrace it. So this is the things that I think leaders or any people who want to survive better, you have to do. Make other people better and embrace the change. whatever challenges come. When people start to worry, you think this is opportunity. When people start to complain, you think it's opportunity if I solve it. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Diana Paredes. I'm the CEO of Suede. We do regulatory software. I won't start pitching. I'll do that another time. But effectively, one of my questions, so we employ millennials, and I guess I'm a millennial myself, and one of the realities and criticisms sometimes is that the workforce of millennials tends to actually change very quickly and goes from one job to another, and the job hopping is actually something that maybe other generations didn't really have. So would you recommend millennials to job hop or to actually stay for a few years and learn certain things when it comes to jobs?
Yeah. I think one thing that really changed me a lot was I was trained to be a high school teacher, and I hate to be a teacher. I said, how can a boy be a teacher? So every day in the school, I was thinking about, one day when I graduate, I will never be a teacher. Because China's system at that time is that when you are teacher trained, you have to be a teacher. So the day when I left, the day when I graduate, I was taking my luggage out. My president of the university, he was at the gate. He said, "Jack, come on." I said, "Come." I said, "Sir, what are you?" He said, I know where you will go. Because he assigned me to a school to teach. He said, "Promise me, 6 years, don't leave." I said, "No." 6 years. I say, "All right." I said, "All right." And I never thought it because I think he gave me a good place to go. But President said 6 years to go. That promise I kept. I become a teacher in the university for 6 years. I calmed down. I learned how to be a teacher. I started to communicate with my young people, students, changed my mind, and I learned all the good things of being a teacher. And then I started to move. 6 years later, there are a lot of great opportunities come to me in the 6 years. I said, "No, I promised." And after 6 years, I started to leave and build up my internet career. So if I were giving advice to young people, when you graduate from something, when you're looking for a job, the first job is the most important. Not necessarily a company that has a great name. You should find a good boss that can teach you how to be a human being, how to do things right, how to do things properly, and stay there. Give yourself a promise. I will stay there for at least 3 years. Then you start to move. A lot of people, that's no good. I've seen a lot of disasters, a lot of problems. So stick to one. So normally I say when you're 20, 30 years old, you don't know what do you do. You have a lot of ideas. You think you can do anything, but you can't do nothing. So you follow one person. Follow one person. When you are 30 to 40 years old, if you really want to try to do something yourself, try that. When you're 40 years old to 50, just to focus on the things you're good at. When you're 50 years old to 60, enable young people to do better. When you're over 60 years old, spend time with your grandchildren. Enjoy yourself, right? That's the life, normally like that. Yeah.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Mariam Robinson from Jamaica, CEO of a bank in Jamaica. So I, like you, believe that technology is good for human beings, and it actually helps to democratize access to markets, which is relevant for very small, poor countries. But there's also this concern that as we innovate, there's no one standard managing that innovation, and that these small, poor countries could be left behind. So I wanted to get your thoughts on should this be more standardized and managed at a global level? And can that help to bring along small, poor countries to ensure that growth is inclusive?
Yeah. That's a good question. This is what I'm doing almost every day. For small countries, developing countries, better not to think about standardization, rules or regulation. Don't think about it. The first thing to think about is let the entrepreneurs come up. Let the innovation come up. When they come up, then you know how to regulate. Last century, big size, big money, standardization is the rules. This century or next century, personalization, customized. That's the rule. So when you're talking about standardization, it takes about years to still fight and debating. But when you, as an entrepreneur, when you start to do it within 3 or 5 years, you already make big changes. So for developing countries, don't convince them, like today Europe. The more you discuss about standardization, the more concerns come up, the more worry come up, right? So today, happily or good for developing countries, you will see in Europe, so many countries worry. So many countries start to talk about regulations. It's opportunity for you, for small countries. Move faster.
Hi, Jack. My name's Sudarshan. I'm a global shaper from Pune. And I work to gamify education. But one of the things that I found interesting in the Global Shapers community is that I've found a place where I can be vulnerable, share failures, and share my fears. Now, I'm interested in knowing what are the communities that you feel comfortable, which is the circle that you feel comfortable in being vulnerable in. You mentioned how the 18 co-founders were the people that you shared your failures with. I'm also interested in knowing, are those 18 co-founders still the people you share your fears and failures with? And has that changed? Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, I think first it's young global leaders, shapers. This is a very good community, right? This is why I come here. Year 2001, I was young global leader. And I was sitting there listening to Bill Gates, Clinton at that time, you know, the debate, that most of the things I don't understand what they're talking about. Right? But the things I understand as I go back and I test it. So this is why I said, because of Davos, that reformed me. Now, every year I come here, the priority one, if there's only one thing I would do, I would spend time with the young global leader shapers to share my experience. So this is what I think. And then the other thing is you can partner, but don't do business together, all right? There are a lot of people you can do business together, but not on the same group. This is no good. All right. This is my advice.
And why is that?
I've not researched that, but I've seen a lot of classmates, you know, in the business school, MBA, when they start to do business together, they break the friendship and they break the business. Because when you look at the others, all the beautiful. When you get closer, it's not. Business is like a marriage, but business is not a marriage, right? So don't invite your friend to join your company to be partner. Because be friends is always good. It's more precious, right? Giving you advice. My 18 founders, yeah, we still keep a contact, and some people, you know, I said, when 10-year anniversary, this is a 20-year anniversary. 10-year anniversary, I told all the 18 founders tonight, everybody write a letter of resign. Because you don't owe company do not own you anything. You've been working hard, you got what you want, you can go be yourself. And then if you think about it, join the company again, write in 40 hours later, think through, write a letter of application to join the company as a normal employee. We will never consider you as the founder. If you're not qualified, you're out. That was the rules. So a lot of companies have founders, and then the founder getting problems, the company get problems. We did And I feel proud for the 18 founders. They all live well. We still contact. But I travel a lot. I see a lot of friends, and I make friends of every different industries. That is strong leadership and unique, and they love to share. I have a lot of friends. Play poker and drinking together, but not easy now. But I think it's very important to have friends. I'm a person believing in friendship. I make a lot of friends, and people say, "Jack, how could your friend in the prison?" So why not? He was my friend. He committed crime. He's in prison. He's got punished. But he was my friend. When he came out, if he changed, we support him. Some people are very government officers, somebody bankrupt. It's a friendship. It's not about how successful you are. We believe your person. I believe that when I'm in trouble, you give me my advice, not necessarily give me money. That's what I think. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Mustafa Amin. I'm from Egypt, and I feel so lucky being a global shaper.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's a very short question. What keeps you awake at night in today's world?
What keeps me awake in the night in today's world?
Yes.
Nothing. I sleep very well because I have. You will get used to that. When you go through life like this, company like Alibaba, people always see good side, but there are so many scary times, worries and that, and you have to overcome again. Now, I know if I cannot sleep well, problem is still there. If I sleep well, I may have a chance tomorrow to fight against the problem. Sleep well no matter whatever happens, right? So I don't have it. Today the world is that when I wake up, I say, I go to Africa today. I go to Europe today. I hammer on the United Nations panel, say, this is what we believe. We think it is, whether they accept or not, it's not important. The important, you go tell the truth. You go tell your opinion. And you go change. That's what we do. Yeah, don't worry.
Hi, Mr. Ma. My name is Natalie Chan, and I'm a shaper from the Hong Kong hub. So I know that you're a great leader, but most importantly, you're a really great teacher. And I know that the education system is inherently quite broken. And so I've been working a lot in the education innovation space to connect students into 21st century skills and new job opportunities.
That's good.
But when I talk to a lot of students, I notice that a lot of students just have no idea what they want to do in the future. They have just really confused. The school world focuses on a very different thing than the real world. So I was just wondering, in terms of industry relevance, in terms of what the education world is, because right now it's quite separate. What are your thoughts about bringing more of the private sector and creating a curriculum perhaps under Alibaba for high school students to understand more about entrepreneurship, e-commerce? Because I know you do a lot of work in supporting Alibaba Entrepreneurship Fund, but what if there is an opportunity to work with younger students and create a school for them? What are your thoughts about that?
Thank you. I already created a kindergarten, a primary school, a middle school, and a high school. Because I think we have to do something to change, because we say, I changed. And then people say, Jack, how you change? What does school look like? So we built up a school, a kindergarten, primary school first. And I say, in China, because it's all about schools. If you have a good school, you got to go. This is a very Chinese way. And I say, my school, the people who joining, we interview the parents. Oh, wow. Right? So this school, when this finish, they will not be able to, when they have a testing, they will not be successful like the other school kids. Are you willing to send them here? So at the beginning, people worry, Jack, if you train the students like this way, no people would coming. I said, don't worry about that because Alibaba have a 40,000 employees in Hangzhou, enough, right? And then they say, if you finish the primary school in your school and then they cannot go to middle school, say, I say, oh, let's build a middle school. And then they say, if you finish middle school, you cannot build a high school, let's build a high school. Then the university. And I say, I don't worry about university. I believe 10 years later, university will accept my students. The way training them to be real human, not learning machines. So we're testing that. As the kindergarten, you have to teach the kids singing, dancing. That's to bury the seeds of culture inside. Primary school, we teach the kids the value. Western, Eastern. I don't want the kids educated in the Western, they don't like the Eastern, and the Eastern, and they don't like the Western. A lot of people complain about China. And I say, have you read Buddhism, Taoism, Confucius? No. Right? You don't know them. A lot of people complain about Western. Nobody ever read the Bibles. How can you complain? I mean, if you know Bible, you know where generally coming from. A lot of people don't like Islam. They don't ever read that. So the middle school guys, they have junior middle school, they have to working hard. The senior high schools, they have to build interest. Today, the problem is most senior school students, the only dream they have, my parents want me to go to a key university. And what do you want? I don't know, but I just go to university first. That's a problem. So we need to do something. And I'm happy to hear that you're doing something on that. Yeah, Alibaba is testing that. Good news is that we're getting more and more interest. We only accept a few students, 100 students every year, but the application was huge. The way we teach, the bad news is we have not proved that we will be winning in 10 years. But I think if you teach your kids to be a real human, it will win. If you teach your kids to be a machine, you don't have a chance.
Hi, Jack. Ren Hua from Singapore, YGL. We met a couple of years in your office in Hangzhou. And when I asked you for advice, you said to me very clearly, you said, Ren Hua, don't study the businesses that succeed. Study the businesses that fail.
Yeah.
So for all of us, I mean, from a specific dimension, obviously Alibaba is probably one of the most successful businesses of the 21st century. And probably yourself, along with Steve Jobs, have created something which is very visionary to last for another generation. If you were to start a new company today, hypothetically, so the Jack Ma today, 2019, if you were to start a new company today from scratch, and if you were to go to pitch at Davos, what will you do and how will you incorporate this philosophy of learning from failures over the last 20 years?
Yeah. First, if I started again, today, I will not be moving on the internet because there are so many smart people there. I go to the agriculture industry and these areas because to compete with these, not easy. And second is that whether I have a Jack Ma's experience. I mean, experience means my experience when problem comes, I'm never scared. When problem comes, I'm saying, hey, let's wait a minute. What's the opportunity behind it? And when mistake makes, we'll see how we face it. Why I am still encouraging every young people when you become a business leader, do not always follow the successful stories. For those people who are successful, there are a lot of reasons behind it. But learn from those people who fail. For all the failure mistakes are almost the same. Study that. Not because you can avoid the mistakes. It's because when the mistake comes, when failure comes, how you face it. So, my next life, I will be a business people again. And good experience. It's not how much money you made. It's not about how famous you are. It's about how much experience you have encountered. I feel so proud for so many tough situations come, my team work together, we overcome that. And we found a lot of mistakes, silly mistakes. We laughed. We are writing a book, right? We try to remember all the silly mistakes, then share with the others. Don't laugh when you will make the silly mistake like us again. Yeah.
Hello, this is Khulud al-Mansour from a Global Shaper from Riyadh Hub, Saudi Arabia. You've spoken at the very beginning that to change Africa you need entrepreneurs, and I think the same case for the Middle East because you're trying to move from an oil-dependent economy to a more diverse economy. My question is, how would you advise on that, and are there any plans to expand in the Middle East in terms of how you're expanding in other regions? Second question is the level of observation. To what extent do you think the Middle East economy or scenario is actually capable of absorbing a limited exposure of entrepreneurs or entrepreneurial projects? Thank you.
Yeah, first, there are great entrepreneurs in everywhere in the world, but most of the entrepreneurs are in the developing countries. There are more professional management in the West, but in the East, like Africa or the Middle East, China, we have a lot of Indian, Pakistan, we have a lot of entrepreneurs. And second, I think the government should, if the government want the economy to grow good, do not trust themselves too much. They should trust the market. Trust the market means trust the entrepreneurs. Any government spend resources on training, developing, encouraging, make business-friendly policy for entrepreneurs, this country will go up. So I think Middle East, I've been there some countries for 2 or 3 times. I found a great entrepreneurs there. The thing is that they were, the governments, most of the oil countries, they are too rich. They're not care about the small, tiny. This is no good. They have to pay attention to small business. Last century, the bigger the better. This century, the smaller the better. Last century, you had to be a strong company. This century, you have to be a good company. A good company means you care your employee, your family, your friends, your customers. If you're comfortable, not necessarily be that big. Don't think about Alibaba, Amazon, Microsoft. Just to think about, I enjoy my life. This is, I come to this world not to make a career. I come to this world to enjoy my life. And I make a good company. When the company is good, it will be strong. So I think Middle East, huge potential. But the technology, they have to embrace it. Yeah.
Okay, so we have time for one last question. This is quite difficult. Oh, okay. I've been told we actually have time for 2 questions. Okay, this is great.
Hi, Jack. I'm Alessandro Panerai from the Milan Hub, a Global Shaper. So my question is, what is your main personal goal and what do you want to learn in the next 5 years from now?
My personal goal is that I hope, for business-wise, I hope the internet, we will build a new ecosystem that using technology can enable every young people, every small business, that they can global buy, global sell, global compete, global deliver. And anybody can buy globally, deliver globally, sell globally. It's make the world really global. And my personal is that, one thing, nobody can decide which family you were born, right? But you can decide how you die. I don't want to die in the office. I don't want to die on the hospital. or that peacefully on the beaches or somewhere, right? So relax and do things I like, because I've been working really hard before this year, very hard. I will still work very hard, but I will pick up the things I only like. This is because the first 50 years tough work can give me the rights to do something that I really like, not do the things I have to do. Do something that I love to do. Yeah, when the girls.
Hi, Carol from China, YGL 2018. I produce and host an interview show, Global Thought Leaders Like You. I think China has been playing the catch-up game for a long time, and now it's an exciting time for Chinese entrepreneurs because they can really be top of the world. But they're very busy, climbing up the ladder. But also, it comes at a great cost of family, of friends, of health. Probably not dying on the beach, as you said, right? And they're too busy to really think about the purpose behind all these technological innovation, all these economic development, all the value questions. Well, I see the conversation happening in a lot of the guests I interview in the West. So how do we really start the conversation in China? And also, it's an important question that China contributes in the global conversation. So how do we help with that narrative so that it helps the world to understand China and helps China to contribute to the world as well?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, give you another. I'll try to finish 2 questions. Yes, yeah.
Hi, my name is Gabriela. I'm a global shaper from Caracas, Venezuela. And I wanted to ask you about, if you could share with us a challenge that you have faced and how did you embrace the challenge? Because, all of us, we are living in an age where we have found so many global challenges, and most of us are facing our own domestic challenges.
Yeah.
And so I would like to know, what do you think that was what was your difference among others to overcome those challenges?
Thank you. First, about China question. Yes, China is developing very fast. When you want to be the global leader, it's not about your money, it's not about your economic power or military power. It's about your responsibility. It's about the value you bring to the world. We believe he's a leader, not because he has a strong muscle, because he has a wisdom, he has a heart. He knows what he's doing, and I think China is learning that. It's not. This is like me. I never thought about these questions. Honestly, for 20 years ago when I started my business, you are so smart than I was 20 years ago. I can never ask these questions. Slowly, when to the certain size, I take more responsibility. I start to think differently. Right. So when you think about creating value for the others, then you will think about creating value for yourself. And Chinese, Western, the thing is the U.S. now there's a conflict. It's a good thing. Because through conflict, if they're both rational, they will learn each other. Oh, that's what you mean. Today it's more like a duck talks chicken. Different languages. So this kind of conflicts is not necessarily bad. It's a helping understanding, right? So that's what I suggest. China is learning, Western is learning, Middle East is learning, Africa is learning. We always have to keep on learning. When you keep on learning, things will change. About your question, I faced a lot of challenges. Some challenges that I would never say. I probably, when a certain age, so painful, regretful. But, The only solution is go to bed and sleep, wake up, do it again. Life is very short. You only have 80 or 100 years. The thing you can do is 30 years. If you're always in the bad mood, you cannot pick up the second. Pick up one. All life is very long. 100 years is very long. Don't think about today. Wake up tomorrow. You will not. When I be rejected by so many people, I say, tomorrow there's somebody waiting at the corner for me. He should be smart enough. Yeah. So always be optimistic. Try to comfort yourself with your own hands. Yeah. Nobody can comfort you. Can warm you up. Only you can warm up yourself. And if you want to be successful, pay the tough cost.
Thank you.